You're watching WKYT News at Noon.
Good afternoon. The news continues on WKYT. We're about to hit 12:30.
There's a lot of cleanup to be done in an eastern Kentucky community hit hard by yesterday's storms.
Strong winds from the storms brought down trees, knocked out power in Wolfe County, and the National Weather Service is in the area right now taking a look at the damage. Let's go to WKYT's Sean Moody there now with our top story at 12:30. Sean?
This is one of the trees they're still trying to clear out here in this city park in Campton. It came down on some bleachers and did some damage. There are more trees down along a creek nearby and some roof damage across the road. A National Weather Service meteorologist said his preliminary estimate is that straight line winds around 70 miles an hour are what caused damage here in Campton and other parts of Wolfe County. He was here doing a damage survey this morning. There are trees down throughout the downtown areas of Campton. One house had a big section of shingles ripped off the roof by those high winds. If you're not really trained in damage survey, this may all just look like a bunch of limbs all over the place. But National Weather Service meteorologist Ed Ray says there are important things to look for.
Damage that's spread out. Usually when damage is spread out, it's straight line winds or when it's pointed all in the same direction.
And that's what you're seeing today?
Yeah, that's what we're seeing here today so far.
After checking out this area of Campton, that National Weather Service meteorologist headed on to Valeria in Wolfe County, where he's checking out some more damage. We'll find out what happened up there a little later on today. In Wolfe County, Sean Moody, WKYT.
And there were no reports of any injuries, fortunately, in Wolfe County. Well, 10 people were hurt when tornadoes hit western Kentucky. A tornado that went through Mayfield in Graves County was caught on camera. The twister ripped apart homes and businesses there. One man survived by holding on to a tree.
I got on the other side of that building is a swimming pool, and in front of that pool is a big tree, and I was just hugging that tree for life. And
State police also reported seeing a tornado on the ground in Trigg County near the Christian County line. The National Weather Service will be in that area today as well to survey the damage. And we're getting a break from the stormy weather, at least for now, but that's not expected to last long.
We'll have more storms as we head into the night. Let's get an update now from meteorologist Micah Harris.
Hey, you know what? We're going to be going through the rest of the afternoon. Some thunderstorms sparking up down toward the far southwestern areas. These are areas that we actually picked up some damage from yesterday with some straight line winds coming in from Wayne County. That's what we got from the National Weather Service there in Jackson, 60 to 70 miles per hour. But this actually makes its way north and northeast. So that line of thunderstorms right there slowly but surely migrates into our far southwestern zone. So Cumberland region, that is the best opportunity to pick up a couple of showers, a couple of rumbles of thunder the rest of the afternoon. Now, through the daylight hours, that's the best chance. However, we get off into the evening and into the night, and that actually makes its way a little bit northbound. We have another system that's going to be barreling on through as we travel off into your evening and nighttime hours, and that will give us the opportunity of more thunderstorms, more heavy rain, more lightning. It's going to be another noisy night is what it looks like as of right now. I'm going to break that forecast down for you. I've got an hour-by-hour forecast with new data coming in, and I'll have that coming up in just about 10 minutes.
All right, Micah, thank you. We've learned a man accused in a string of arsons around central Kentucky was on parole for the same crime. State police say 38-year-old John Roth and a 17-year-old burglarized 6 homes in Jessamine, Garrett, Fayette, Scott, and Madison counties before setting them on fire. According to the State Department of Corrections, Roth was paroled December 1st after serving time on an arson charge in Jefferson County. State police say they arrested Roth and the teen after they pawned items stolen from the Madison County home in Jessamine County.
It's kind of scary. I mean, luckily we had video surveillance of the guy bringing it in, and it helped put the guy behind bars.
Now, Roth pleaded not guilty to receiving stolen property charges in Jessamine County. State police say he could face more charges. Police have identified 2 people hit and killed by a train as a husband and wife.
The couple was walking on the tracks near the West Columbia Street crossing in Somerset last night. WKYT's Phil Pendleton talked to police who say these kinds of accidents are happening too often.
And we have learned here that the husband and wife victims are 27-year-old Daryl and his 26-year-old wife, Chelsea Phelps. This accident happened about 7 o'clock on Tuesday night. Now, police say they were walking along these tracks after probably getting on at the West Columbia Street crossing, and they were hit by a northbound train. Police say the couple may have been confused by the direction of the train, the correlation to the tracks they were on, and may have actually tried to get off the track when they were hit. But police say there have been far too many of these train versus pedestrian incidents.
It's common for people to walk the tracks. It's illegal. The railroad tracks are actually private property of the railroad.
Police say when they got here, Chelsea Phelps was pronounced dead at the scene. Her husband, Daryl, was pronounced dead at the hospital. In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Phil, thank you. The West Columbia crossing closed to vehicles several years ago. Police say it is still legal for people to cross the tracks, but only at the marked crossing. Attorneys for a former coal executive are trying to delay his entry into prison. Don Blankenship's attorneys filed an emergency motion yesterday. He is scheduled to report to prison tomorrow, but the court has not ruled on his request to stay free until his appeal is decided. Blankenship received 1 year in prison for willfully violating mine safety standards at the Upper Big Branch mine in West Virginia. That coal mine exploded in 2010, killing 29 men.
More than 24 officers from the Richmond Police Department are on their way to Washington, D.C. to honor a fallen colleague. The 26 officers will be there as Officer Daniel Ellis's name is added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial. Ellis was shot and killed in November during a robbery investigation.
He's going to be up there with thousands and thousands of other heroes, but just to know that he's not going to be forgotten for the sacrifice he made and the ultimate price he paid, it really means the world to us.
Now, while the officers are in D.C., the Madison County Sheriff's Office, Eastern Kentucky University Police, and Berea Police will cover their calls. Kroger is putting up the Help Wanted sign. The company plans to hire 14,000 workers for its stores nationwide. The hiring blitz starts Saturday with open interviews at 19 Central Kentucky Kroger stores. If you're interested, you need to apply online at jobs.kroger.com prior to attending the event.
Well, it's good to have you with us on WKYT News. Why you should know the warning signs of asthma.
And there are new concerns about over-the-counter heartburn medications. To find out more, stay with us for Better Living on WKYT.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Looking across the region, not much going on later on this afternoon, but I'll tell you this, once we get deep into the afternoon, off into the evening hours, we're actually going to see some storms get a little bit closer. I believe these storms actually come evening and nighttime hours, though. Here's the look right now. You look down toward the southwest of us, and there is that little finger of showers and thunderstorms back toward Bowling Green. That is not affecting us right now. However, I do expect maybe a few spots to actually be affected by that once we travel off into the afternoon, especially that Cumberland region. Now, we take our way off into the evening and nighttime hours. That's when it gets a little bit active. Temperatures are there in the low to mid 70s. It's a pretty good feel, but I will tell you this. Temperature-wise, it feels good, but in terms of moisture, in terms of humidity, it doesn't feel great outside. Now, look what the Storm Prediction Center has now done, put us in a slight risk down toward the west and southwest. This is the area that I was talking about early this morning that we could see some of those storms ramp up, especially evening and nighttime hours, and that is your best opportunity anywhere across the 68 corridor, the 150 corridor, also BG Parkway, down towards, say, Somerset and Pulaski County, and areas that were hit pretty hard yesterday by straight line winds. Could have another shot at that later on today. Still marginal risk back toward the southwest, and that does include Lexington with that marginal risk, meaning a much lower end chance of some severe storms. So no widespread severe weather, but I do expect some storms. Watch this, okay? Because this slight risk actually lines up perfectly with what this particular model is showing. And this is no doubt about it what the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma is watching. So here's 6 p.m. Cumberland region, that's probably your best bet for a couple of showers, a couple of rumbles, thunder to spark up. Then we get off into the night, anywhere from 8 p.m. to about 10 p.m. Look at these storms nudging on in here. But watch what it does. It kind of falls apart as we travel off into the night. There's really not much to it. Nonetheless, I still expect some rumbles of thunder. Some thunderstorms ongoing there at midnight tonight. Yes, it's going to be another loud night for you guys down south, but it's not going to last all night. Not this time around like it did last night, early this morning. It fades away tomorrow morning. We're actually looking mostly dry. I don't really see a great chance of rain, but watch as we go through the day. Guess what? No surprise here. Here we go. More thunderstorms in the forecast. That is the back edge of your front, though, because once that pushes on through, then we look toward Friday. Friday looks really nice. So, yes, today we're still looking at more rumbles of thunder, especially evening and night. And then we're looking over toward Thursday, guys. Pretty widespread rain, especially late in the day. Friday, though, everybody's looking toward Friday. There we go, with dry conditions in the forecast. Fully dry day for everybody.
All right.
Finally.
Hip, hip, hooray.
I know.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
All right, a question. Do you know the warning signs of asthma?
And a new concern about over-the-counter heartburn medication. Jamie Yukas has details on this Better Living report.
A new study shows popular heartburn drugs known as proton pump inhibitors can damage blood vessel cells. Research published in an American Heart Association journal finds long-term exposure to the over-the-counter medication can cause blood vessel cells in the lab to age more quickly. Recent studies have linked long-term use of the medications to heart disease and dementia. A new national survey finds many adults have asthma and don't know it. Research from National Jewish Health finds most people are aware of common symptoms, including wheezing and shortness of breath, but not other signs such as trouble sleeping, chest pain, and persistent cough. 1 in every 200 adults are newly diagnosed with asthma every year. And researchers at UCLA say yoga and meditation may help reduce the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. In the study, participants who practiced mindful exercise for 3 months were better able to navigate while walking or driving, had fewer symptoms of depression and anxiety, and could better manage stress. Those are some of today's top health stories. Jamie Yukas, CBS News, New York.
All right, coming up, do you know the warning signs of a stroke?
How to find out if you're at risk. Next on WKYT.
Welcome back. So good to have you with us here on WKYT. It's a question we should all know. Are you at risk for a stroke? Baptist Health Lexington is offering a free stroke screening this Saturday at Fayette Mall.
To learn more about it, we're joined by Dr. Curtis Given and Nicole Archer with Baptist Health Lexington. Thanks very much for coming in. Important topic.
Certainly is. Dr. Given, is there anything new in the care of stroke patients right now?
Yes, so the past 2 years has been very exciting for stroke in that we've had over 5 trials that have come out that have shown that interventional therapy is better than just medical therapy for certain forms of stroke. So it's like a cardiologist that would go in and put stents or balloons in a heart in somebody that was having a heart attack. We now have a therapy similar to that for stroke patients that are having the most devastating kind of strokes.
Does it involve surgery or what is that?
It's minimally invasive. Yeah. It's all done through the artery in the leg like a heart catheterization would be.
Interesting.
Well, what about the stroke screening at Fayette Mall? What's that going to include?
So the stroke screening at Fayette Mall is going to have over 50 volunteers from the hospital, and we're going to do your risk assessment, and that includes your BMI, blood pressure, heart rate, and EKG if necessary, listening to carotid bruits, and consultation one-on-one to discuss when should you follow up with your physician and what are your risk factors for stroke.
So it is important to know those risk factors, and is there anything you can do if you do know that you are at risk?
Yes, I mean, the main risk factors are the same ones that are generally thought of for heart disease, in that diabetes, hypertension or high blood pressure, high cholesterol, cigarette smoking, sedentary lifestyle. So you can make all of those lifestyle modifications that really reduce your stroke risk, and then we can help with certain medications to also reduce your stroke risk.
As people are heading out for this stroke screening, is there anything that they need to do? Do they need to bring a list of medications or anything, or just really show up?
We would just like them to show up. It's very important if they know their medication. That may help us some, but also it's free to them. This would cost hundreds of dollars if they went to their physician. We would just like them to come and allow us to assess them and educate them on stroke and what we can do with their physician for their care.
And they'll have a lot of useful information if they show up. And again, this will be coming up on May 13th. That's correct, right? On 8:30 until 4 p.m. at Fayette Mall. So that is Friday.
Yes. Right outside Dillard's.
Good. All right.
Place to be.
Appreciate
Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you all.
And keep it here. It's Beef Month here in the Bluegrass.
How you can eat Kentucky proud. Next on WKYT.
Welcome back. Glad to have you along as the news continues on WKYT. The Kentucky Proud program is a focus of the State Department of Agriculture, and hunger here in the Bluegrass is also a top priority.
Kentucky Agriculture Commissioner Ryan Quarles is here to talk more about these issues, and we do welcome you very much. Glad to have you here.
Glad to be back. It's been a busy Derby weekend.
Yeah, and you said that's a really
big weekend for Kentucky.
An opportunity really for agriculture as well.
That's right. Not only do we get the opportunity to promote Kentucky Proud products, but Kentucky Proud horses. And the top 3 finishers, Nyquist, Exaggerator, and Gunrunner, all Kentucky bred horses. So they get that nice Kentucky Proud symbol next to their name in the program, and we're proud to have another winning season at the Kentucky Derby with Kentucky Proud horses.
An extra point of pride for all of us. The Kentucky Department of Agriculture has a new program involving Kentucky Proud. Tell us about it.
The local food movement continues to catch fire across our state. Kentuckians are more conscientious about where their food comes from, and so at the Department of Ag, we're going to highlight Kentucky Proud farmers, Kentucky Proud restaurants by sponsoring a series of dinners called Food to Fork program. And we encourage people across the Commonwealth who want to either own a restaurant and host an event where they help promote local ingredients and sources that really help out our local farmers to contact Department of Ag at kyagr.com to talk about the series of dinners that will help raise awareness and help educate citizens about, hey, there might be a farmer just down the road I can help buy produce from.
And you can feel good about making that purchase then.
That's right.
Well, this is also a beef month in Kentucky?
That's right, month of May, and it may surprise you to know that Kentucky has more beef cattle than any other state east of the Mississippi. In fact, over 2 million head of cattle. That's 1 cow for every 2 Kentuckians. We're proud of that statistic. I grew up on a beef and tobacco farm. And so we want to remind Kentuckians to get out there and promote the industry and hopefully buy some Kentucky Proud beef as well. We have over 38,000 beef farmers in Kentucky, and it continues to be a top 5 commodity in our state.
What are some of the other initiatives that you have going that you want people to know about?
Well, later this month, we're going to be rolling out what's called the Hunger Initiative. Unfortunately, hunger affects 1 in 6 Kentuckians. 1 in 5 Kentucky school children don't know where the next meal's going to come from. And so at the Department of Ag, we've decided to take the lead on this issue and start a dialogue about hunger in Kentucky. And through this initiative, we're going to help seek input from our food banks, from our charitable community, from our church community, also farmers themselves, to talk about what's working, what we can do better, if there's areas of duplication, and really start the dialogue and perhaps move the needle a little bit on an issue that affects far too many of us.
All right, sounds like a very interesting initiative there.
Yes.
You're assessing some damage from the storms that rolled through Kentucky yesterday.
That's right. It looks like obviously some damage down in West Kentucky and Graves County. There's some structure losses there, but we continue to assess the situation. But the good news is the corn's planted, a lot of the crops are out, and we're hoping and praying for a great production year across Kentucky.
All right, Commissioner Ryan Quarles,
Very good.
thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Let's check weather before we go. We need this to settle down, and that'll come at some point. Here's meteorologist Micah Harris.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to come today. Now, most of your afternoon, the rest of the afternoon, most of it's going to be dry. However, get into your evening and nighttime hours. That's when we start to see these storms roll on in. Slight risk has been set up for our western zones. We talked about this morning. This is the area where we do expect the best chance at a few thunderstorms. Now, let me take you through it real quick before we go. Watch the timestamp top of the screen. There you go at 9 p.m. Look where it's at, right across the 65 corridor, 10 p.m., 11 p.m. Yeah, it's later on in the evening and night. Guys, Chris Bailey, he'll be in here at 4 p.m. to get you updated.
Yeah, just when we're trying to sleep again, right?
Seems like it's been happening that way. The Young and the Restless is next. The Talk at 2.
That's WKYT News at noon. Have a good one.